So, Happy New Year, guys. Wow, not me trying to heal from all the makeup and damage I've done to my skin. January is almost over, but I am a bit way behind. But I've thought about a bunch of people that are close to my heart because I'm one of them. Mothers, how's your January, guys? Kids are back to school. And we still have to run our homes, and I'm just wondering, first, did the house up come back from Ushago, or tunakutana kwa bureau tukianza kutafuta other people's? So anyway, I was lucky enough to afford one for the holidays, and the morning she left, the one that is the more permanent one was back in the evening. We thank God for that. However, if you are still running around getting help and they are leaving, or you bring in one and she leaves the next day and you're starting to feel guilty for your children, oh, they're going to be raised by different people, oh, this one looks like she's about to leave, she got a good job, all I can tell you is breathe. I remember Terrence's wife, Millie, said she had I can't remember the number, quite a number of house ups within 1 month. Is it 1 month? And the guys were saying that's a lot, she must be the problem. No. What I can say is, one, if it doesn't work out, just like relationships, walk away. You can't force a house help. You can't, let me call them domestic managers because they deserve better. You cannot force a relationship with them. You cannot force a relationship between them and your children. At the very beginning, this is for new moms. It will feel like hell. It will feel like you're doing something wrong. You will want to punish yourself, but don't do it. You're not doing anything wrong. It's your first time mothering, and you're doing quite a bit outside of mothering that little child or those children. You're running a house, and you also have to look sane while you are at it. A lot of the times we lose sleep, we gain a lot of weight, we are stressed, but each house has its own situation. Judge yours according to what you know about your house, not what people are saying. A lot of the times we will be makeup free, like now, because really a lot is happening. You don't have time for a lot. Right now I'm going into the office. This is when I will do the makeup, or not, depending on what it is you're doing during the day. Anyway, so just to console a lot of you who might need the consoling, I plan to give you a list of the house ups that I have worked with over the years. I have 2 children. I have a 15-year-old turning 16 in June, and I have a 4-year-old turning 5 in May. And between them, the firstborn saw more pepe, meaning I had more house ups that I could count before it all settled. And there's a lot of things that go with, there's a lot of reasons, a lot of situations that determine your relationship with your house ups or how long they stay. For one, if you're a single mom, like you get a child and it doesn't work out with your guy for one reason or another, it's a whole different situation, because there's 2 types of single mothers: the crazy ones and the ones that try to stay normal. The crazy ones are the ones who hide everything from sugar to hot chocolate to, probably the best way to describe it, they ration the food in the house, and you're living a house up with your child or your children, but you're rationing how much they can use, and you give them too many rules because for some reason it makes you feel better about yourself. And then there's a single mother who wants to take care of the house up like her own children. That is a lot of us. So either way, it is not a guarantee that being good or whatever is going to make them stay. If it's their time to go, they will go. It's not a guarantee that if you treat them in the very best of ways, pay them the very best of rates, that they will treat you well as well. For me to understand them, because pia ni watoto wa watu, I tend to think they have dreams just like you. You're working, you have a good job somewhere, but at the back of your mind, you keep telling yourself, I can do better, I can do better. You've been applying for jobs. I know you have been applying for jobs. It's just that maybe you're too old for that market, or you're overqualified, because sometimes that's a lot of problem for a lot of us. You're overqualified. Same thing with your house up. She has dreams. She doesn't want to do this forever. So what do? For the time being, especially when they're new, first 3 months, amazing. They've already passed the audition, but it's still, they're acting like they're still in audition. So it's good for you and your children. Sorry. And then after that, you start seeing the true colors. So it is up to you as the mother of the house to decide if this is going to work or it's not. So, pardon me, I had to make some changes, like removing my office tag, because sometimes you might get emotional and say things, and just to put it out there, anything I say is my opinion, not my employer's. Mine, not generalizing on mothers, wives, single mothers, or whatever situation you're in. So I will take you through the many house helps that have been, those I can remember, because with my son especially, they were many, very, very many, and for various different reasons. I was a small girl when I got my son. I was 23, and then things didn't work out between me and the father. Yeah, for the very many years we've been at, by the time we got to get in a friendly situation where we can talk like boys, it was a whole journey. Because I met him, I was literally a child in today's measurements. He was someone who's just beginning to earn and enjoying his life. And I mean, not to make an excuse for him, but if I were a guy at that age right now, I don't want anything messing with my finances, my image, whatever. So we were not in a good place. We had no business being with each other. Right now we co-parent in terms of our son. Not in the best of terms, because yeah, whatever happened, but we try. So the very first house up from when Trevor was born, I apologize to all of them first, because I can't remember their names. I really don't, but I remember the experiences. A lot of them were very good. It's just ambition, which you can't hold against them, because they want better. Neighbors or boyfriends or whatever will come to them and give them promises, or even an uncle somewhere saying, I'm going to take you to school. Then it doesn't work out. And you, as the mother of the house, you have to learn over time to read the room. You know, this one is about to leave. You have to let her go. That way, by the time she's telling you, hey, Mama Nani, this is it. My journey with you has come to an end. You're not catching feelings. You already could see it happening. So the very first house up was Kamrembo from Cowland. And at that time, I was staying at my brother's in Kitengela. Bless him. He's an awesome guy. And the wife, they really took care of me and Trevor in an awesome way. Again, by then things had not worked out between me and Trevor's dad. When I was pregnant, I was at my late sister's house, went to the hospital, came back, went to my brother's house. Yeah, now that I talk about it, it's a weird, sad situation, but it's part of consequences of choices we make. You have no money, you have no house, you have no business having babies, because you become your parents' and your siblings' problem. They have to figure out your life for you, because you're basically young. You are not seeing how much trouble you're getting yourself into, and well, shit happens. So very first house up, she was nice to me. Around that time is when we had this Tasker project film starting. That was in 2009, around there. And we would watch after she's done all the work during the day, taking care of Trevor, blah, blah, blah. We would watch and we would laugh about it. Poor performances, we would have favorite artists, Kina Patricia Kihoro and group. Was it? Yeah, around that time. Yeah, however, she couldn't stay because now we are at my brother's house. She cannot, for some reason, she really did not want to respect my brother's wife. So it was either she goes or we go. And by then, me and my Trevor had not figured out life. I was working at Monte Auto Garage in industrial area. I was a small girl earning like 5,000. By the time I was leaving, I was earning like, let's say 9,000. So I had no option. I had to let that girl go. She was not respecting the owners of the house. And then seeing that we were living in a prison estate, GK prisons at the river, she was seen almost every other day flirting with the cops, the young cops around there. Nothing wrong with having a cop friend, but we know how that goes. You're a house up domestic manager. You're a domestic manager, you have work, you're not respecting the owners of the house, you're seen everywhere. There's a lot of risk. What if you come home tomorrow, you're pregnant, and once you're a domestic manager, you are my problem. Myself, I cannot even handle the situation. I don't have money. I'm a refugee in my brother's house. So you have to go. That was my first house up. The second one I got when Trevor was around 3 to 4 months. I had just gotten a job with Royal Media. Bless them. I got a house in Mlolongo, a small-ish building called Nzuni Village. Those who know. It was a one-room house, not a one-bedroom, one-room house. And my mother helped me move there. And I have some old friends who came, helped me to do the paint work and settling. I was given a double-decker. So my house up would sleep on the upper deck. Me and my son would sleep on the lower deck. And because of my first job, I had gotten like a small, tiny fridge. I had gotten an old TV from home, TV kona mgongo. And then I had gotten a video deck. How do you call those things? Now we don't use them. The ones that you use CD to watch a movie. And a Meko. So life was starting with my son over there. However, because the house was in Mlolongo and I was working in Hurlingham, I would see my son like over the weekend only. Because every day I'd come home, he's asleep. He's a few months old. And every day when I leave, I have to leave before 6 for me to get to Kilimani on time. It was a sad situation. This girl was awesome. What I remember about her is the kind of omena she used to cook. She was low. I've never found it anywhere up to today. She was good. I also can't remember her name, but she came up with a story one day. Oh, my uncle wants to take me back to school. I was like, that's good for you. And I released her. So that was around the holidays. So I released her. I was on leave, trying to figure out what's going to happen next. And I would leave my son at my brother's house in Kitengela, go look for a house now closer to the office. And that is how I found my first house in Kibera, Ayani. So later on, I found out that this girl is not, she was going back to school. No, it has nothing to do with the uncle, no. She had been promised some work. She had been promised some work in somewhere in Kajiado, I can't remember where, some coffee, not tea or something, some plantation. Then it didn't work out. But by then I had moved on, moved houses, moved to Ayani. Now I had to find another house up. So I did. I got a good Kamba chick. What I came to realize, my domestic managers were either cows or Luyas or Luos. But at the very beginning, most of them were Kambas. So This very nice Capriti chick. That's one thing I remember about her. She was a Capriti, yellow Capriti chick. No problems. So I moved into this house. The first house in Lolongo, I was paying 3K, and sometimes I didn't even have that 3,000 shillings. Then the house in Ayani, the house belonged to a Mwarabu lady, a nice lady. I can't remember her name because at some point she had a lot of patience with me because I would delay paying that rent. What I was earning was going mostly into transport and food, and it was not enough. And my son's father was really not helping. So now this one was good. The issue is when my late sister needed a house up, she said she knows one. So we gave her transport for the new house up. I gave her the house phone, Akatulu, gave her the house phone, and then she went. We thought she's coming with the house up, and that's the last I heard of her. So alikula fare, mtu wa kwanza kukula fare yangu. So I had to walk around, find another one. Sad thing is, once she had left, is when you start hearing stories of how this girl would put Trevor on the pram in front of the TV after he's eaten very well, and then she would leave for the day. And because she knew what time I was coming from work, she would come back on time, clean Trevor, feed him. So you, when you come home, you're tired, you didn't sleep last night because maybe Trevor was disturbing you, not realizing that this Trevor is disturbing you because of nappy rush, because she would leave her there on the pram, he would shit on himself, susu on himself, so nappy rush. By the time I'm coming, she's doing all that. Now, over the weekend, you're with Trevor, you're not noticing, because by then it hadn't gotten to a really bad situation. So you thought it's a normal thing, maybe because also you don't have money for diapers the way you're supposed to. Maybe you're staying with diapers for too long, and you're just thinking it's maybe because there's not enough in the house. Why this girl used to leave her there and go wherever. That's what you pisses me off about neighbors. But then again, I don't know why you get to know what the former household did after she's already gone. How is that supposed to help me? Anyway, fast forward, I got another cow chick, courtesy of my friend's mom. They're from Ukambani somewhere. So I saw this chick and she scared me because she really looked like a boy. She was like a tiny chick, short hair. She just looked rough, like she was going through something or she had some sort of trauma or whatever. I said, no problem. Let me just keep her around. But she had queer. That one helped my Trevor to walk. That's why it's a challenge to a lot of women, because you might have a problem with your house manager, but she's so good with the kids. So this girl, I can't remember her name, really helped my Trevor to walk. But now me and her had a queer situation. Like, she wasn't talking much to me, which is okay. She was doing her job and she would go. Towards the end, I realized it's, you know how you grow up in the estate being told that when you want to do an abortion, you use a lot of tea bags, majani. You make it conk and drink it, and those nonsense that you're told, that is unsafe. Don't do it. But that's what I used to hear. So one day you come home and you find her, she's mixed a lot of that stuff. And I couldn't help, like I wasn't scared to tell her. But I couldn't say the exact words. So what I did, I told her, whatever you're trying to do, go do it at home. Come back when you're okay. Around that time again, I was on leave. So I let her go. She came back a few days later and all looked fine. So I was assuming whatever she was trying to do worked out well. However, she still had some very queer tendencies. Would be okay during the week, but around Friday, she has some war of sorts with the neighbors. We were staying on the first floor. In those very dark houses, it's a 2-roomed house, not 2-bedroom. We used to share washrooms with the neighbors, and then during the day it was dark because of poor lighting. It was just a messy situation. So one day I'm in the house, I think I was cooking or feeding Trevor. And then I see this girl running. Then behind her, there's a woman and the daughter. So I stand at the door and I ask them, "Excuse me, where do you think you're going?" At your house Epsiju has done what? And I'm like, yeah, so you think you can come to my house to cause drama? Can you tell me what she has done? So they explain. I tell them, "Sir, I'm going to deal with it." Of course, I didn't deal with it. This girl was confusing me. Why would you go and cause chaos with the neighbors? First of all, I don't even know who those neighbors are. I've seen them around, yes. I don't even know their names. You know their names. You know them so much to the extent you can actually fight with them. So I kept bottling and counting and just keeping a whole list of what this girl has been doing. And she started being rude suddenly. There's a time I found some contraceptives in the house laying around, and that time Trevor was not talking yet. He had not started school. But in my mind I was like, what if this boy walking around can just pick these things and eat them? Like, it was going to stress me. But when you try to talk to her, you realize this Kagal does not care. Like, that is really, really your problem. This Kagal really does not care. So I was done. I was done with her. I wanted her to go. I called my mom, and my mom was coming from Ushago. So she said, "No problem, I'm bringing a girl tomorrow." So I said, "Sawa." I kept her money in the house. So now my mom made a blunder. She comes with this girl. It's not like she's going home with her so I can pick her the next day. So she tells me, "I'm in town, I'm with the girl." Now this one, I've not released her. Meaning the two of them have to spend the night in my house. I go to town, I get her. The minute I see this new girl, I'm like, "Mom, are you serious? You can't see she's pregnant, as it's not like a small pregnancy. This girl can give birth any day." And my mom could tell my disappointment, but she is the type of, let's sort one thing at a time. You need that one to go. You need someone to hold fort. We'll figure it out. I say, "Sawa." So I go home with this new girl, the kissy girl. She comes to the house, so I can hear them whispering in that room. Me, I'm with my Trevor in the sitting room. And that is where we would sleep. I would put a mattress on the floor, we would sleep there, so the house can sleep in that other room. I don't know, them single mom mats. So the next morning, I'm telling her, so here's your money. You need to pack up and leave. The insults she gave us that morning, and the curses. This chick basically told me, this job of yours that makes you feel so superior, by January you will not have it. Please know that's towards the end of the year. And then she turned and told the new house up, "In fact, you'll give birth to something dead." Oh my God, what was I living with? Who the hell was that I was living with? That was 7 months I stayed with her. I remember very well. But if someone can talk like this, and she's shouting at the corridor, even the neighbors are coming out to see what's going on. So what I did, I let her go, went to the gate and told the gate guys, went to Kilimani police and reported her. I actually have an OB against that chick. I just can't remember her name, but I have an OB against her. Then she started sending me texts after she'd left. Now that phone that I had a problem. So by the time I was going to the cops to show them the message, the threats that she's sending to me, the phone went off and it's Aikuwai Wakatenai. That was the end of that phone. I was like, hey, now her witchcraft has already started working. Like, she had said, "I'll not have a job by January. I'll not do, this other girl will give birth to something dead, blah, blah, blah." And then my phone just stopped working. Anyway, so I did that report, went back home. I called my friend's mom and I told her what had happened. And I told them, please find out where she is because I need her to get to her home. If anything happens to her, I'm not part of it. Then I called my friend Pam. At that time, she was the only saved person in my circle of friends. And she's really, up to today, she's really a prayerful person. So I was so scared to the extent I called her and I told her, this chick has said 1, 2, 3 things over my life. And I want you to pray about it so that it doesn't come to fruition. And she actually prayed. She didn't judge me. Like, you tell another friend, like, hey, my house up has just poured some serious witchcraft over my life. They'll laugh to the floor. They'll give you alcohol. You'll laugh. You'll forget about it. But my friend took it seriously. She prayed over my life, and that was it. So fast forward, Trevor was about to start school, and before I settled on Sitam Woodley, I took him to two different schools within Ayani Estate. The first school I took him to, they were not helping him clean his butt well. So thank God he's a boy, because it would have been worse, because you know how our biology is made up. But I removed him from there. They were not doing a good job cleaning him. By the time afternoon reaches to go home, it really, really looked bad. So I took him to a different school, but it was too full. Like, if that is the premium school within the estate, everyone wants to take their children there. So it was just messy. I was not settled. So, and even before that, 2013, I was done with what the house ups had done to my life. So I decided I'm taking Trevor home to my mother. I'll be sending money there. Let me just stay in my small house. I was staying in an SQ now. I moved from the 2-roomed house to a 1-bedroom SQ. I decided, let me just pause, because this house ups had done a good number on me. Took my son to my mother's for that 1 year. So the first school he ever went to was House of Hope in Sokimau, Mlolongo. It's a really good school. I wished, when I was taking him out from there, I really wished I could carry the school with me to this side. The fee there, everything put together, was like 8,500. But please don't note, even by then, the dad was not sending a dime for school fees, uniform, nothing. So it was all on me. Then things at work were working out well, and I had learned a lot of ways, even outside of work, and how to make and keep money. So I had a little money in my account. Suddenly I could take a loan. So I decided to go take my son, because that year was the unhealthiest year of my newness in parenting, relatively newness in parenting, because I would eat fries every day. I'd go to the Made that takes care of bachelors. That's where I used to eat. If not chapo every day, it's chips every day. And drinking was an any day situation, because now you're going home to do what? You go drink with friends. And I would cry a lot, because sometimes you're having so much fun and it just hits you. You left your child in your mother's house. It's not like your mom is the worst grandma in the world. In fact, my mom loves her grandchildren, my dad equally. But I used to feel like there's something I'm not giving my child. Like, it's like you're happy that your child is far away from you. And it was hectic over the weekend. I would go pick him on a Friday evening or a Saturday morning. Then I'll have to take him back the next day. Please note, I didn't have a car, so we are using a motorbike every time I'm going to see them. Pick him, use a motorbike to main road, do whatever it is you guys are doing in Nairobi. Then on Sunday evening, you have to take him back. And he would cry. Every time I would take him back, he would cry. Okay, it'd be okay once in a while. The worst is when my late sister and the children are also there. Then on Sunday, we are all going back and he has to remain. I was done. So I took him back. House of Hope, thank you. Took good care of my son. So that's when I went to the one, to Ayani with him. Then those two schools I took him in, and first one was not cleaning him well. Second one was too overcrowded. Then when I put my monies together, I took him to Sitam Woodley. I never regretted. It was the most awesome school. If I could afford it right now, I would move back those sides so my daughter can go to that same school. So now there I found, there's one house up I'm forgetting. She's called Maureen. That one I remember very well. Now that one, I went to pick her from a bureau in Kenyatta Market. And the first thing she told me was, you small girls, you younger mothers are mean people. I was like, what do you mean? You hide food, you ration the amount of food, sugar, etc. that can be used in the house. And I'm like, what do you mean? If food is your only fear, let's go, I show you. We went into the then Nakumat Prestige Plaza and we shopped. She's the house up who taught me to buy unga by 10 kgs. Like, she was a lawyer. I used to buy the gunia for 10 kgs. And I would make sure there's food in my house. That chick used to eat. But I was like, she's taking care of my son, well and good. And this is why I'm telling you, no matter how you treat them, if she's a good one, she's a good one. If she's a bad one, she's just a bad one. So one day she calls me and tells me her sister has been kicked out of her job. She was also a house help somewhere. And she's supposed to travel the next day, but right now she's out in the rain, out in the night somewhere. I told her, no, it's okay. You bring her. She can spend the night. Then tomorrow, you will see her off. And that's what they did. But let me tell you, I could hear them. You know, I'm Kisi. My Kisi is not so good. I'm not proud of it. They're Luyas, but we're both Bantus. And I could hear them talk crap about me. And I'm like, all I've done for this chick is take good care of her. In fact, that time, I was such a small chick. If you came to my house, you would think she's the boss and I was the help. And I'm not kidding. But for some reason, she was just talking crap about me with the sister. And that was it. So the next morning was a Saturday. I had to go to work, come back like around lunch hour so she can go with the sister. When I'm at the stage, I see her holding a suitcase and I'm like, what are you doing with my son's suitcase? I'm just transferring these things and I'll come back. I say, sawa. So I go to the house. Then I find she had already collected everything of hers. Like this was planned, she was leaving. I say, sawa, I'm not going to fight it. I had already paid her. So she left. I called her to ask her, you said you were transferring things. Where is my son's suitcase? She didn't respond. Then later when I was about to take my son to the hospital, or if it was me who was going, I can't remember. Find out the hospital cards, the insurance cards were in that suitcase that she took. So I tell her, you took the suitcase. It has the insurance cards. Now I have to pay insurance to give me other cards. That is extra money. She doesn't care. Then we find out from the guard, she even left. When she left with my lamp. You know those two tires that you wash out when there's no light in the house. I'm like, what do you mean? Why would she take your lamp? And I already had one in the house. Which reminds me, that tomboy house help, when she left a whole lot of debt at the shopkeepers, which has never made sense up to today. Meaning, she was shopping for her boyfriend. You remember those contraceptives in the house? You also keep wondering, where were they doing their business? In my house. Oh my God. Trevor has seen a lot of things. I hope his mind shuts it down. Or at least he speaks to a therapist later in life. But yeah, so that one I let her go. So I called the bureau that I had taken her from and I told them what had happened. They dismissed me. I said, sawa. Only for them to call me 1 month, 2 months down the line and tell me, oh, by the way, you were right. Where she went after she left your house, the owner's handbag was found in her room. She had stolen stuff. So I told them, sorry, there's only so much I can do for you guys. When I warned you, you didn't listen to me. You thought I was the problem. I moved on. So I went there another time. I took another kagal. Have you ever picked someone, you go home and you can just tell from the word go, there's something wrong with this girl. You go with her to the house and all she's doing is sleeping. Like, you could tell it's either she's sick or just there's something wrong. She soaks beddings for 1-2 days. Back at they start becoming slimy. That one lasted in my house for I think 2-3 days and I had to let go of her. I remember there's another one. There's another one who some of my friends work in a salon in Ayani, and they had my woes with their house ups, and one of them decided to give me her sister. I'm like, are you sure? Yeah, sawa. So she brings the sister. That one also was sleeping all the time. And I asked her, what's up with your sister? She's always sleeping. And when I leave food in the house, when I come back in the evening, the food is still there. So I don't know if she even ate. And if she decided not to eat, did my son eat? So I'm always fearful, like, is she starving herself? Is she starving also my son? Like, what is going on? Only for me to find out, before she came to my house, she was at her sister, and her sister lives somewhere in my neighborhood. And she had a boyfriend in the building where I was staying. That boyfriend had already gotten her pregnant. She had not told anyone. Now, by the time I was hiring her, she was pregnant. So the sister tries to act as if that pregnancy was made while she was working for me. And I say, I call the bullshit, but I don't want to act violent or loud or anything, because there's a lot of aspect in that situation that could have gotten all of us in trouble. Because if I reacted the way I react, if something happens to her, she's under my employment, something somewhere was, then I'm alone. I'm the single mom in my house. I don't have like a man who comes to the house so I can tell him, hey, by the way, this is what is going on. So I have to deal with it very intelligently. So I said, let me be patient. Day 1. Day 2, they started having meetings in my house, like the man's people, and then this girl's sister and some people, they would meet in my house. After 2 days, I asked her, what's your plan? Why are you meeting in my house? I employed her to come to work, not to come and get laid in the estate here. So from tomorrow, you guys are not welcome here. You figure out what you're going to do with that situation. And that was it. So there's another one I got. She's called Irene, a very, very nice lady. She would work January to December, and then December she would disappear and come back maybe in March or February. And I would rehire her because she was good. Then she'd work the whole year perfectly. December comes, she goes again. And you don't know the next time she'll come back. So the last time she did that, and I would withstand that because she was really good at her job. And she was really clean. And sometimes I would even send her in a cab. That was before Ubers. Send her in our neighborhood cab to Prestige Plaza Playground, and they would stay there. She would know what to do with Trevor, if he's hungry, what to get him from the supermarket. And the day would be done. I can sleep the whole day. I can go do my own things, etc. I remember her very well. But then the last time she went home, she ate my fare twice. Yeah, I know. Twice. She'd be like, oh, Mama Trevor, I'm coming back. And to me, a fare I would send. She would not come. So I would have to hire someone else. And then she would call. Then I'd have to let go of that someone else. Usually, those someone else were not nice people. So I was like, good, you go. So after that, I got another one. Trevor was growing. Over time, Trevor was growing. There were many, but God was working his wonders. So I got another one. I can't remember her name. It was a very nice, unique name. But she was nuts. Now, that one from day 1, when she came to my house, every day, 9 p.m., her phone would ring. And because we're staying in an SQ, the privacy is not there. You would allow her, I mean, you don't mind her getting out of the house to go talk to whoever she's talking to. Then one day I decided, hey, these phone calls are very long. Maybe let me go check on her. And I went, and I walked, and I walked, and I walked. I could not find this girl. So I was saying, let me not react, because sometimes you react and then the next day you have to leave your child with the same person who you shared. No. So what I did, one day I was in the house just chilling. Then Trevor comes to the house. Oh, mom, someone is taking my bike. And I'm like, what do you mean? Kwani auntie yako wapi? Ati, she's somewhere there talking to someone in the car. What car? So I followed him outside. only to see her. She's bent over a matatu. You know those matatus that either have mechanical problems or they're being brought back to the estate to stay, or to some garage in the local wherever. So the guy is parked outside my gate and the chick is bending over. I don't know what they're talking about. You talk to whoever you want to talk to, but why are kids bullying my son and you are there? What's your job, mom? So that's the first time I embarrassed house help, but I had to do it. Someone had to do it. And I shouted her name. I still can't remember that name. And she turned. I told her, you need to get back to the house to do 1, 2, 3 things. And then she was a bit embarrassed, turned around, came to the house. Then one day I told her, you see these house helps out here, the ones you talk with and decide to misbehave together. The day you go home, you'll be going home alone. And me, I can only withstand a lot. Like, if you forget your job and I'm done with you, you will go home. I will not warn you because I don't want you to beg me. You will just go home. She thought I was joking. So usually, because of that crazy one who shouted at the corridor and when she was going, I had to call out to a friend of mine called Susie. She's the one who used to help me get rid of house help who don't want to work with me, because I started fearing that one day one of them will beat me up. And then I was a small girl. Even now as a big chick, I still fear house helps because these girls can do anything to you if they are evil. Not all of them are bad. Some of them, first of all, you don't even know where they've been raised. You don't know their full story unless they let you in on that full story. So you have to be very careful when letting them go. So anyway, so this one day, I made sure Trevor is not home. Usually, I would send him to my brother's house. So I'm home alone that weekend. And usually around time when I've taken leave, so I can also observe the situation. So I've taken Trevor to Kitengela. Now I'm coming back. And then, in fact, that time, then I'm coming back. Then Susie tells me, Sawa, tomorrow, 7 a.m. That is usually the time. Susie comes home at 7 in the morning. I don't do any talking. She does all the talking. So she'll be like, hey, and we will make sure the house help has woken up, done her job. The house is clean. Then Susie will call her. I want to see your bags. Because for me, usually when I'm done with the help, I don't even want to check the bags. I don't care if you've stolen my TV. Just go. I'm done. I don't want that confrontation. I don't want any fights. I don't want any embarrassments. Yani, just go. So Susie is the one who usually says, hey, I want to see your bags. Come, pack them. Then they start crying, kneeling down and begging. And by that time, I'm usually done. So I will not even say one word to you. My son is not there. I don't care what you do. So when we're leaving, I have to close the door, lock it properly. Then we leave with you. So when we're leaving with this girl, see me, I know she's gone. Now this is the evening. I'm coming from wherever. Then she calls me. Oh, Mama Anna. That is now, I think, a day later. No, that same day when we released her in the morning. Then I went to do my own things. Came back during the day and I found some clothes on the couch and I thought we're on the ground floor. So I thought someone, especially Susie's people, have come, because sometimes they would come and clean for me when I don't have a house. I thought it's her people who've come, removed the clothes that were on the line and put them in the house. I didn't think much of it. Then I went, did my own things. When I was coming back in the evening, this girl calls me. Ati, hey, Mama Trevor, I forgot something in the house. I was like, no. You tell me what it is you forgot in the house and I'll make sure you get them at the gate tomorrow earliest. Ati, oh, I also need my ID. I'm the only one who knows where I kept it. I was like, no. So immediately, I had to make my son's father useful by force. I call him and tell him this is what is happening. I have no way of having security in my house right now, but I fear this girl is up to no good. Luckily, he works somewhere on Gong Road. He had another job on Mombasa Road. I don't know what happened with that. But he has a business on Gong Road, somewhere close to where I was staying. So what he did, he passed by. He sat there at a couch just next to the door. Served him his food. So me, I was in the kitchen. And guess what? This girl starts walking. I can see her from the kitchen window. And I'm like, what if this man was not in this house? Forget how useful he's going to be, but what if this man was not in this house? What was that girl planning to do to me? So she came, walked around the kitchen. Out from the outside, you could see she's also looking to see what's going on in the house. Then she came, picked her clothes, and left. Remember, this is someone who had said she had forgotten something in the house. She hadn't forgotten anything in the house. She would have taken it. She said she don't even knows where her ID is. She did not take anything in the house. She took her clothes and she left. And that time is around 8 p.m. Where is she going at 8 p.m.? I released her at 7 in the morning. Where has she been the whole day? And you know, at some point, you remember I was telling you I used to follow her and she would disappear. Then I let it go. So one day after she's gone again, you hear a lot of things once the house help has gone. After she's gone, some guys are saying, you know that house help of yours used to walk here with your shoes. Another time, she would go into these two local pubs here in Ayani. I'm like, so you're telling me now so I can do what? Either way, I went with my intuition and I left and I let her go. But these are details you're getting after she's already gone. Hey, me, I think I've had enough house help dramas. However, it's called part of... If you decide to be a parent, be ready for that drama. If you decide to be a mother, be ready for that drama. Because a lot of the times, these men don't have time for that. They have to go look for money. Those ones who are good ones, who provide, who stay, they have to go look for money. So that's why you hear a lot of people saying the child belongs to the mother at the end of the day. That was not the last one. So I had this other one, a very nice chick. That one we never fought. But I could tell she was stressed. You know, sometimes we let them go over Easter or Christmas. But for me, from the word go, every Sunday is your off day. Come back in the evening. So this girl had a child already at home. And she was doing a good job. So I never used to delay with their pay. Now, a certain Wednesday, that's a certain month, end month was on a Wednesday. This is why I stay with their money till weekend. I don't pay in the middle of the week. Either I pay you before the end month, if it's on a weekday, or I pay you the weekend after. I gave this girl money, her salary, on a Wednesday, and she wanted to leave the same day. So I asked her, what am I going to do about work? She started crying, and I knew, no, she doesn't want to go. Immediately, I knew she didn't want to go. So I left her there crying because I couldn't tell. Did I shout at her or what is happening? Then I went, as I was going back with my work, bulb lit in my mind. Like, I went to her, sat her down, and I told her, listen, me, I'm just your employer. I can't beat you up. There's no reason to. I know you're pregnant. Like, I was doing a guesswork, total guesswork, but I was right. I told her, I know you're pregnant and I'm not going to beat you up, no. And I'm not going to chase you away. You have a child already in your mother's house. If you leave now, what are you, that child, and this new one going to eat? And your mother also. What are you guys going to eat? So she was like, yeah. So she started opening up. I told her not to worry. It's not visible yet, meaning you can still do some small jobs. No, don't carry water. No. Those ones, I'll figure them out. I just want you to watch Trevor. The rest, I'll figure it out. So you will work until you cannot work anymore. And that is exactly what that girl did. She worked until she got to 7 months. Now it was very visible. And she was ready to go home. She had saved some money. She was ready to go home. That was in 2014. I remember because I had just bought my first car. Took her to town. First of all, I made sure Trevor is not around again. A Saturday morning, took her to town. When we go to town, the Kenya Cinema area, I parked my car there, of course, pay Kanjo. So I got one of those guys with cats, to wheelbarrow, some form of, and I paid him. I said, now, these are her bags. Please make sure she gets to where she's supposed to get the shuttle home. I had paid her, I had given her some extra money. Then she left. Let me tell you, she got home, she called me, I spoke to her, I spoke to the mother. I think she had just given birth. The mother was like, "Thank you for taking care of my daughter. Uh, all just blessings upon you." And I was like, "Receive. Amen." So, talking of house ups and pregnancy, that was the second house up who got pregnant. Now there's another one. I think by this time I was like 26, 27. She was 33. So she's an older house up. And then we were good. Then at some point, I realized Trevor does not like that woman. Then later it hit me. Those are those girls who, if your son was not covered in the blood of Jesus and your mother's prayers, she would have easily taken advantage of him. Because there's a time, later it hits you. There's a time she was trying to play some game there with Trevor, and Trevor almost beat her up. Trevor was not even 10 yet. So she starts getting sick. I take her to the hospital. She has fever. Take her to the hospital. She's given some dawas, antibiotics, painkillers, nini. Okay, you start, it's a 1-bedroom, 1-bathroom house. You start thinking, is it me? Am I not clean? Is my house not clean? Am I the one getting this house up sick? You start doubting yourself even when it does not make sense. So I take her to hospital. I think it's called Y2K, somewhere there in Nursing Council area. Very affordable, very good. Take her there. Then that week ends. Then she becomes sick again. I worry. I take her there again. Then I leave her. I go to the office. When I'm in the office, the doctor calls me and tells me, madam, there's a problem. I ask him, wahala. Ati, this girl is pregnant and she needs surgery ASAP. Almost died. Shock, because even me and my Trevor, we use insurance. I don't have cash money. My house up is not insured. She doesn't have an HIF. Where am I getting money to take her to the hospital? I say, sawa. I asked them, so surgery? No, here we don't do it. Take her to Coptic. I take her to Coptic. They check her and they're like, this is urgent. And the surgery will cost, I think they were talking about 160 something thousand. I was like, are you mad? Where am I getting 160 something K? If I had that money, I would not be living where I'm living in the first place. So I tell the doctor, first, let's call her boyfriend or her husband or whatever the cause of this problem is. We call. The guy spoke nonsense to her and I knew she's on her own. I cut her the phone. Then I come and tell the doctor, me, I don't have money. Even me and my son are using insurance. What am I doing with this? The doc, a very nice guy, a short, nice doctor. Now thinking of it, he was also handsome. It's just that I was stressed. I was just seeing someone annoying me. Then he called me and he told me, now let me give you advice, which now you can receive for free. Like, if anything happens to your house up, you will be arrested. So I'm not trying to scare you, but this is what you're going to do. You need to take her to Kenyatta. Go straight to casualty. Do not sit down. The minute you reach like this, just tell them there, this is ectopic pregnancy. They'll sort it out. Then you will sort out the bill later. Please note, by then I had spent like 10,000 plus, around 12,000. Taking her to the hospital and back, her medication and back. So I say, sawa. She can't even walk. She's so hot. She's sweating. This is how someone dies in your hands. So by then, my son is at Susie's place, the one who helps me chase my house ups. Warning to all house ups. If you see Susie in my house at 7, you're going. Anyway, joke. So my son is at Susie's house. And I can't tell what I'm going to do the next day because this is in between the week. And I have to be at work the next day. I take her to Kenyatta. We go to casualty. Then I get to casualty and the polite woman in me doesn't want to pity all these people. You know how Kenyatta can get full. We sit down. Then I remember I was told, because now it's getting late, I remember I was told, do not sit down. So I went to the counter. And I told them ectopic pregnancy. Where? That is how I knew a doctor should be respected. Any medical personnel should be respected, because that woman would have died sitting next to me, waiting for me to act. And I'm there busy being polite. Listen, if it's ectopic, it has to be sorted out as soon as yesterday. So I gave her to them. In fact, I was told to get a crash cart, put her there. That before I told them it's ectopic pregnancy, they were doing a triage on her. And then once I said it was ectopic, that was it. They took her, they gave me her clothes. They were like, first of all, how much do you have? We need 5,000 shillings from you. Like, I don't have 5,000 shillings. How much do you have? I think I had 3,000. I gave them. They were like, sour. So they took her in immediately. Yani the rush they were in made me worry even more. Because that means that girl would have died seated next to me while I'm trying to be polite. Guys, no. Now you know. If it's ectopic, it has to be sorted. So I went home. Please note, by then, outside of the bureau where I took her, I don't know her relatives. So I went and I got into her bag, my instincts, got into her bags, started checking. I found a black notebook. Started going through the numbers. It's just one name. So you can't even tell from her ID, her names, who's a relative, who's not a relative. Went, and the first number I called, coincidentally, was a brother. So I tell him what is going on, tell him your sister is in hospital, without giving too much details. And he tells me, now, kwetu, our home, the only person who can assist is my sister. She's married in Kisii, works there. No one in Nairobi can help. I'm like, so what are you guys talking about? No one in your house can help. So I understand. Give me your sister's number. I call her and I tell her what's going on. She's like, okay, Sawa, we'll see what to do. I hang up. I go to bed. By then, I've already picked my son. We're home. Meaning the next day for school, I have to wake up early, sort him out. Sorted him. Then I went to work. Lunch hour, I went back to the hospital. I went with clean clothes for her, underwear and shoes. Went there. She had already gotten the surgery. She's seated at the ward. Found her with a sister of hers. I was like, whew, thank God, because me and her are done. Like, you okay? You've eaten. Here's money for food. Here are your clothes, your shoes, nini, sawa. I didn't see her for that whole week. She'd been released the same day. I didn't see her. So over the weekend when I'm at the salon, I could see her walking. And she calls and says, oh, Mama Trevor, I'm so sorry for what happened. I'm now here to take my clothes and I'll go. I was like, it's okay. You just go in, take whatever you need to go. Take whatever you need to take and go. All the best in your life. And that was it. I think what pissed me off the most is she's older than me. She was 33, I was 26, 27, thereabout. You can't tell you're pregnant? Yes, you can't tell you that you're pregnant. I'm not judging, but by then I was judging. I was like, seriously? What if something had happened to you? That would have been my first criminal offense without offending anyone. So, another person I had was an old grandma. I hired her without even checking her age. I knew she was old, but you know those two very nice, small-bodied ladies. She was a Maragoli. I can't remember her name also. She was a shosh. By then, my son, I think, was 6. I'm mixing these stories because I don't know which one came first, but just get the story. She was good, but she had a heart problem, which I didn't know before she came to my house. So she could not run around with Trevor. So she's always complaining, oh, Trevor, anapenda mchezo. Trevor likes games. I'm like, yeah, he's 6. Oh, Trevor, anapenda mchezo, nini. I'm like, oh, okay, sawa. Please note, without agreeing to it or without making such plans, I would pay for her hospital visits. If I had extra stuff in the house, I would give her. She had older children, of course. And she had a sister who was either sick or there was a story. So she'd go visit the nephews, or something, and I would give her money because for me she was like an old auntie of mine staying with me. So I would really take good care of her. Except for you complaining about my son that he plays too much and he's a child. Say sawa. So she never used to go for her off days as frequently as these other young girls. Towards December especially, she never wanted to get out of the house. So I said, hey, you have kids. I want you to go see them so that you don't disturb me in January when we're back in work, at work. I don't want you telling me in January that you want to go see your kids, you want to go see your sister. So you have to go. She's like, okay, sawa. And let me tell you, for her, I could not call Susie. Because even Susie would not know what to do with her. She's not a small girl. That is how I got rid of her. Because she had a heart problem. I was paying for treatment. And she was always complaining about Trevor. Please note, you're there for Trevor. Even me, being in that house, it's because of Trevor. Otherwise, I would have been in my mother's house. So if you cannot work with my kids, my child, you gotta go. So I hope she's okay wherever she is. Because I had to get another one. So after so many house ups, which some of them I will remember on another date, I finally found a very good one. I had gotten some good money. So I was finally moving from, this was 2016. I was moving from the SQ to the main house. The guys in the main house, whose kids were my son's best friends, were moving. And I needed a house, so I moved there. Now, then they had a family member, a niece, who needed some work before she goes to college. So that was not a house up really. This is someone who, she's also called Maureen, who we were going to help each other. So she's helping me raise Trevor. I'm helping her make some money so that she can go to college eventually. And Maureen was God sent. Everyone who came to my house loved her. She could cook. I gained a lot of weight because she really could cook. And she was nice. She was smart upstairs also. She still is smart upstairs. And she took care of, she used to help Trevor with his homework. She took care of Trevor for over 5 years. But by then I had gotten my daughter, and something usually happens. When you get a new baby, some mothers will tell you, if your house upstairs, you're blessed. If she stays, you're blessed. And Maureen, bless her, she has ambitions. She had ambitions, still has ambitions. So she joined some school in the estate around there. Some donors were helping guys get something close to what the Americans call GED. Some basic diploma that can help you through life. And what I did, I supported her. So she would use my internet, my laptop, her friends would come over, they would revise, and somehow it helped her CV. Let me tell you how smart Maureen was, and beautiful. She had a boyfriend in the UK, this pen pal. Somehow you meet them online or wherever it is you meet them. There's a Valentine's. You will laugh about it, but yeah, it's funny anyway. The Valentine's, I had no plans, no money, no flowers, no chocolates. We ate hers. That's how serious she was when it came to dating. She had a boyfriend in the UK who would come into the country and would spoil her for that weekend. I know her, she wasn't the type of chick to always disappear over the weekend, unless it's really a must. This was the beginning of a good thing, because this man would come around and would spoil her. The time I would scramble for small monies to get a jumbo jet ticket to Kisumu to go do my own things with friends. Not that jumbo jet ticket is not a big deal, but you know what I mean. That same month, she went to Kisumu to see her parents, to see her dad. The mom had died. In KQ. Yani, your help is doing better than you. I love it for her. No, it was such an amazing thing. I told everyone about it. Like, Mimi nangangana. I'm struggling to get a jumbo jet tickets. My house up is going via KQ and it's a return. You're still trying to figure out how you're going to get back to Nairobi. I just love it for her. So anyway, as we speak, the only thing that didn't work out for her, and I felt bad for her. She was supposed to go to the UK and she could not get a visa. It was a whole lot of, but just the fact that she had such thoughts and ambitions, even greater than yours. It was such a cool thing, and I hope one day she gets and she goes outside the country and just goes to live her life. Because we traveled with her locally, we went to the coast with the kids. She was just awesome. My friends and their sisters and their helps loved her. So every day I think about her and I hope things work out for her. She left, she got a job in a company, our Hindi, an Indian company, something to do with the frames for spectacles. That was like her second of house helping jobs. And I can tell you, with the kind of discipline, cleanliness, focus I know she has, she's going to go really, really far. If no one distracts her and if she doesn't accept any distractions from anyone, she's going to go really, really far. So that was all those. Please note, they are the helps that helped raise Trevor. And please note, there's others I forget. I will remember later. They were like, by the time I got Maureen, they were like 25. Hi. So after Maureen left, I got a new help. It was such a sad situation because anyway, she had helped me till Anna was like at 7 months. Then she left. She's visited us a couple of times, and every time she's around, Trevor would be so excited because her chapos are the deadliest. Then she's good company. We will laugh, we will talk, etc. So I've had a couple of house ups to deal with Anna because now Trevor is a grown boy. He's in high school. He's in Form 2. Thank God. I've had a couple of house ups to take care of Anna, and one of them was brought to spy on the situation in my house. There was nothing to spy, but basically she's part of some trauma that I got later in life. It's a story for another day. That one didn't last. That one was extremely entitled because she was on Big Boss payroll, the man's payroll. And anytime a weekend would come, she would just decide to leave for the whole weekend. So and the worst was there's a certain Easter. On a certain Thursday, she just did clean up. And then she just told me, I'll be leaving tomorrow morning. I'm like, you've not even asked me what my program is for the weekend. And it's not like she's leaving for a day. She's leaving for the whole Easter weekend. I was done. I was really done. So I had to let go of her. And from then, I think I've had 2 more. With Anna, it hasn't been so problematic. There's one who, again, was super exposed. I remember her name, but that one was a situation. She added to my trauma. I contributed to it because when things stopped working out because of, first, my former employer was not paying. Then my relationship went haywire and I was left with a lot of crazy bills. I was auctioned. It was a whole story. I could not pay even her salary. That's the first house up who caused the drama, and she was within her rights. I cried. Can you imagine the way your mother would cause mayhem to you and you cry? Now this is your house up. And I was so helpless and I really, really cried. Now that one was also smart. She has worked outside the country and I have a feeling her daughter belongs to whatever country she was working. None of my business. She was smart. So when she left, she didn't give me warning. So it was around Christmas. She didn't give me warning. I owed her around 10,000 shillings. I paid her part of it. She left and I had to look for someone to fill that gap so I can also look for money. So it was just another issue. So anyway, I got another one. But that one was also she just wanted some money for that holiday because she was going back to school at the beginning of the new year. And she's very nice. So when she was leaving, she gave me her sister. And that is over 2 years ago. The sister is the one we are still working with, raising Anna up to today. So basically with Anna, it hasn't been that crazy, but with Trevor, and that, ladies and gentlemen, is the story of me and my 200 house helps. I say 200 as an exaggeration, but it feels like that. So what I've learned through the whole journey is if a house help wants to do a good job, she will do a good job, one. Two, if you are a good person as an employer, it helps with them staying. Then don't just focus on the salary you're paying them. If you have something extra, without announcing or committing, give them. These people are taking care of your children. Like for me, what I do, outside of the salary I'm paying my help, who is also a mother of two, every weekend I give her fare, because we moved from where we used to stay with those troubles of auctioneering, rent arrears, etc., to where at least I could breathe a little. It's not cheap, but at least I could breathe a little because I have a lot of debt I need to sort out. So now you see, I moved with her, and I moved her from her comfort zone because her people are on that side. Meaning every weekend I have to give her enough fare to go see her people and to come back. She didn't ask for it, but I knew I'm not in the business of looking for another help. For what? For my ego? No. I need my children taken care of. I need a break so I can sleep once in a while. I need a break to go see my friends. I need a break to just be. So I have to also make her life comfortable. And then over Christmas or Easter, don't be stingy. Don't be a stingy employer. The same way you expect your employer to give you Christmas vouchers, add her something when she's going away. She has an emergency, the same way you get an emergency loan, if you have money, give her. Because if her mind is not settled when it concerns her children, she'll not do a good job. You will not be settled. You'll soon be starting to look for a replacement. So whatever you do, be good to your help. I've learned that. 3, some helps talk a lot. It's okay, let them be. And then some helps don't talk at all. You'll find yourself talking to yourself, making jokes to yourself. Don't catch feelings over that. Like my current help doesn't talk to me at all, but I think something must have happened in her work life somewhere for her to decide I have to draw a line between me and my employer, which is okay. And it's normal. I know it's normal because when my niece is around, when my sister is around, they talk. But when they're not around, she does not talk. She does her job. She will let you know what is happening. She'll let you know what is needed. Official communication only. That doesn't mean I'm a bad person. It just means she's trying to be careful, which is okay. At the end of the day, you're her employer. If tomorrow you found someone else to do a better job, you will fire her. Not in a bad way, but if you find, okay, forget even that. If you find a job outside the country and you cannot afford to pay the rates outside there, you will leave her. So I think she knows at the back of her mind not to take employer-employee relationship too seriously. She just does her job and goes on with her life. Another thing I came to learn about the many house help is she good with the kids? Does she remember? Does she respect you as the person in the house? Does she remember to give the child medicine when you are not around? Because you will take the child to the hospital. Tomorrow you will be in the office. There's some medicine that the child needs to take at 1 p.m. Does she remember such details? Does she check the baby's fevers? Does she know how to check if the child has changed? Because me, God has blessed me with kids who are as loud. They are as loud as their mother. So if my kids just settle for even a few, you will know there's something wrong. So you also have to pray the Lord gives you someone like that who can say, today Anna is not okay. That way, at least you can even feel okay to travel for a 2 to 5 days trip without wondering. Another thing for me that is not negotiable, I cannot keep a help who does not pick my calls when I'm away. I'm not going to call you 10 times in a day. But if I call you and you don't pick my call, at least text me. You get? I don't call always. Most of the time I text. Because even these helps don't like being called all the time. You also don't like being called all the time by your boss. So send them a message. They will respond. Avoid catching feelings over small things. However, if they don't respond, I get pissed off. Because how will I know if my child is home, if my child is okay, if something went wrong today in school? I need to know. Yeah, that is the non-negotiable. If you can't pick my call, at least text me. I will understand. There are those who will not understand. I will understand because, again, you're a woman like me. Sometimes you're just not in the mood for anything, including talking to your boss. So I will understand. But text me back. Tell me, this is what is going on. This is what is needed. And we are good. Another thing is, don't wake up one day and tell me, by the way, weekend, I have this thing. No. We are planning together. And as rude as it sounds, you work for me, not the other way around. Even me today, I cannot wake up and tell my boss, by the way, I'm starting my leave tomorrow. No. There's a lot of arrangement that goes on. Yes, we are of different educational levels and life exposure levels, but it remains the same. Warn me so that whatever plans I might have over the weekend, most of the time I don't even have plans over the weekends. Plans need money. But tell me, oh, Mama Nani, next weekend or 2 weekends from now, there's this thing happening at home I need to do. Sometimes you're lucky, you will wake up and tell me, oh, I need to rush home, and I'll be okay with it. But what if your need to rush home and my need to do something that will bring in money clash? So you have to postpone whatever it is you wanted to do because you didn't tell me in advance. I'm human. I work around your plans. You work around my plans. You just don't wake up and test me because sometimes I will fail that test and you will have to go. Yeah, so anyway, for those who fear changing house helps because of whatever reasons, your reasons are valid, but you can't keep a bad person around. Just don't show them that they are going. But when it's time, they have to go. From one mother to another, hope your 2025 is better than the last.